All right, so welcome to my Stars on Mars episode. What episode are we on? Episode 11 review. So, we, so basically, it's them just getting along and finding out that the AI telling them that there's no more base commander. Now, she just calmly asked everyone to assemble so she could make her announcement. Why couldn't they have done that for all the base commanders? Why did they have to make it an emergency? Because by the end, nobody took the emergency seriously. They were like, oh yeah, this is happening. The point of an emergency alert is to, make it feel like an emergency. Assigning a base commander, not one of those things. But anyway, so they get their marching orders. That first off, they do a reminiscing. Well, not reminiscing exactly, but they need to leave mementos. And I'm not sure why, but they're supposed to leave behind some mementos of their experience here. So now I know why Marchand was. I don't believe Marchand was shown saying anything about leaving a memento. Everyone else did. That should have been a clue. But Kat is going to leave a cookbook, which Marchand threatened to swipe and take home. Adam has a picture of him, his husband, and their dog. Portia has her daughter's ultrasound. Okay. Which, it turns out, it's Mother's Day in the U.S. So, now we have an idea of when this took place. I assume it was Mother's Day last year, not this year, but whatever. So, she left that. Paul, I didn't catch what he left. I couldn't quite make it out. But, so then, and did Tinashe say what she was leaving? I'm trying to remember if she said anything. I don't believe they had her leave anything either. Which, in the grand scheme of things, is not good for her. But anyway. So, then they have their next mission. And their mission is to rescue someone. And I had already mentioned last video that I figured it was going to be Shatner. So they're given their instructions of how they're supposed to strengthen the signal so they can go and rescue whomever they need to rescue. Both Adam and Tinashe know the song from Blue's Clues as to what order the planets are in. And so yeah, this episode was a great ad for Blue's Clues. Most of us who are older than Tinashe and Adam, they learned about it through elementary school. They didn't learn about it in Blue's Clues. But, so, Tinashe chose as her team Portia and Marchand, which kind of bugged Adam. You could see he was like, wait, what? Because he was like expecting that he would be in a group with Tinashe and Portia. So that probably stung a little. But given how things ended up, I guess Adam is gonna forgive Tinashe that. Because it made sense that Tinashe knows the order of the planets because of that song, and Adam knows the order of the planets because of that song. So they each have their teams, and they each go in their rovers, and I don't know, was Adam no, Kat was driving. Kat was driving their rover, and Marchand was driving the other rover. So they get to the site, and they each have their set of satellites, and they are supposed to put the satellites in order of the planets. And so both Adam and Tinashe both know the song, so it's basically who's faster, Adam or Tinashe. Now, Adam's team had an advantage in the fact that they've got two strong guys. You know, Adam and Paul. Tinashe, granted, she is no slouch. She is strong. She has proven herself to be strong. But as far as when it comes to really strong, they have Marchand. And Portia, I honestly thought because Portia was complaining how heavy, well, I should say she's complaining, but she mentioned how heavy the satellites were, that I honestly thought that she was going to be the one going home. But, so the team of three that gets to it first is safe from extraction. So, now, I don't know how far behind Marchand's team was to Adam's. It didn't seem like there was that big of a difference, because how the holy hell did Adam beat a running back in a race to the finish line? It must have been a lot less close than I thought, because I mean, Adam's fast. You do not get to be a figure skater and not be fast. So he's fast. However, Marchand, this was his job. Running was his job. But, okay. Like I said, I don't really know how much Marchand ended up spotting Adam, so it's possible that, I mean, it wasn't like he was way behind or anything, but obviously Adam had enough of an advantage that he was able to beat Marchand. Second time I expected Marchand to, well, actually third time I expected him to run faster than he did, but whatever. Like I said, I don't know how far Adam was before Marchand even started to run. So Adam's team won, and they got the strong signal, so they were able to use it to find the person that needed rescue. And in grand Star Trek fashion, Shatner is standing right there. No spacesuit. He's just standing around like you would in a desert. And so Kat thought, oh, cool. We have William Shatner, and he's not wearing a spacesuit, so I guess I can raise... And Shatner's like, no. And I'm like, Star Trek, I don't think he's ever worn a spacesuit in Star Trek. Actually, I don't think anyone from the original series wore spacesuits. Every planet they went down to explore just so happened to have breathable air. But anyway. So, Shatner basically calls shotgun and kicks Adam out. So he had to sit in the back with Paul, and and he just sits and he's lounging, and then Kat almost couldn't start the rover, which I'm sorry, that would have been actually quite fun if they all had to, after they rescued Shatner, they all had to walk back to the hab. Not fun for a 90-year-old man, because I don't know how far away from the hab they were. I guess Paul could have given him a piggyback ride. Adam mentioned that he's in better shape than he is, and I doubt it. I highly doubt it. I mean, he's in good shape. That's a fact, but better shape than Adam? Debatable. Actually, no, not even debatable. It's Adam. So they get back to the hab, and Shatner, we discovered that Shatner really had no idea how things worked on their end at all, because first Shatner greets everybody, and he tells Paul that he's taller than he thought he was. I'm not sure why. What exactly was he expecting? This is an NBA player. And Adam being shorter than he expected, which that one I can agree. I can understand, because the figure skates themselves add like 2 or 3 inches to you. So I can see that. And of course he said that Kat's just right, because you can't expect Shatner to not be Shatner and flirt with a girl. I mean, that's just gonna happen. And so as Shatner is walking through the decontamination chamber, he's just walking through and, talking to them. And then he's like, wait, where'd everybody go? Because they had to wait for the decontamination, which Shatner had no clue about, which, I don't know, that surprised me. I honestly thought that they would have told him, okay, this is the environment that they're going to be in, and supposed to just read your lines. I honestly thought he would have known more. So they're chatting and getting to know one another, and of course he's going to get the base commander suite, which I don't think should surprise anybody. And at this point everybody's happy and, getting, talking and having fun, and I'm just waiting for when they're going to notice that there's 3 people missing. And it wasn't till later that they discovered it. Paul went to his room or something. I don't know what he was doing. I don't remember what he was doing, but Shatner decided he was going to bed. Now, after this is happening, you see the other team, Marshawn, Tinashe, and Portia, and they get to where the signal led them, which was basically a pod with a tent so they can spend the night, because there's not enough oxygen for them to go back to the hab. And so then they discovered that actually this can only house 2 people, because there's not enough oxygen still. So one person has to go back to the hab. And so Portia, now I really, really hope that she was just needling Marshawn and not that she was having an airhead moment. But she asks, who can run the fastest? And Marshawn's like, wait, what? Me, of course. I'm just like, yeah. He's the freaking running back. Again, his job. Plus, he's a lot taller than Portia and Tinashe, so he's going to be faster simply because he has longer strides. I mean, there's plenty of reasons why he would be the fastest. But, and Tinashe, even though she kept emphasizing that she knew the order of the planets, which Marchand mocked her for, or was it Portia? One of those two mocked her for constantly saying that. For saying, I knew the order of the planets. But she didn't say anything. She didn't, volunteer. She didn't say, oh, I knew the order of the planets, so I should be the one to be safe. She just let them talk, and then they suggested that should be Tinashe, and Tinashe quickly got her gear on, which Portia made fun of. Well, actually, both Portia and Marchand were laughing at how quickly she got her stuff on and headed out. And it sounded like, to me, that they were going to pick Marchand and Portia up the next day. So, next day arrives, and I don't know how long they waited, but it was obvious nobody was coming. And you see everybody in the hab. The night before, Adam mentioned that who they rescued was Shatner. And now, I wonder if, even though he was in the base commander suite, whether he didn't ditch, because I don't know, because he didn't seem to know what the goings on in the hab, I doubt that he knew about Chatty Daddy. So, but the broadcast that the three got was him calling himself Shat Daddy. So I wonder if he's been in Australia this whole time, as opposed to, being in the US and then them flying him out for this last episode. Because yes, indeed, the next episode is the last episode. But anyway, so Portia and Marchand realize that they have to walk. And I think at some point Marchand wanted to pick her up because she was winded. So they get back to the hab. They go in, and the AI announces that they're back. And again, everyone seems like, oh, they're back. It's like, wait, weren't you supposed to pick them up? What is going on? And no signs of Shatner at all. Until I see him in the command chair when they come back. When they get back, and he okay, we have to pick who is mission critical. Now, Marchand said that he wants to stay in the competition. I think it's one of those, he's a competitor, he's very competitive, so he wants to stay just for that. But I think a part of him had enough. And so they had to explain why they're mission critical. First, Portia went in. Marchand. He was like, I want to stay. I've done everything that everyone's asked of me, but, do whatever. I love him. So then it became a vote. Paul wanted Marchand because he made a good point. When if things go bad and he needed somebody who he could depend on to save his life, it would be Marchand. However, most people went with the Portia helps out in the hab as well as out in the field. It's not just It's not just a, mission thing. It's also that she helps out with Half-Life. And they showed scenes of Marshawn goofing off during missions. One time he was not even responding to the base commander trying to get a hold of him, or mission specialist, one of the two. And then the time he was doing donuts. So I can see why they kept Portia. Now, Kat claimed that she wanted to do what was best for her. However, after everything is said and done, they said their goodbyes to Marshawn. And like I said, he seemed to be relieved that they chose Portia. He was happy for, granted, he and Portia have bonded. They're very good friends. So it's also that he's happy for her. But at the same time, I think he was actually relieved that, this experiment was over for him. And he didn't have to, even though he is a competitor and he wanted to win, he can now, happily leave this experiment and with his head up high. So Portia comes in, and now Kat is calling Paul her ride or die. It was only a couple of episodes ago she was calling Lance that. Okay. But she then told Paul that they're in trouble because Tinashe, Adam, and Portia are an alliance. And I'm like, if that's your concern, why not keep Marshawn instead of Portia? I do not understand that logic. If you're saying you want to do what's best for you, how is this not best for you then? So yeah, that is how this episode ended. Now, next episode, which, like I said, is the last, it says the remaining crewmates must correctly answer trivia questions from the HAB manual and advance to the final challenge. And I assume that's where they called the two, because they said in the preview that it's going from 5 to 3. And then, of course, from 3 to the 1. So, that's going to be how they go from 5 to 3. Then where they must properly, to the final challenge where they must properly assemble a satellite tower and broadcast a personalized message to Earth. So that's going to be interesting. So we go from someone with a good memory, because I can't imagine that they have that long to study the manual. Or maybe they've been studying the manual from the very beginning, so it might be a, spot-on challenge. And then to assemble a satellite themselves. So that's going to be interesting. I really can't say who I think is going to do well in either challenge. I don't know how well some of their memories are. Granted, the 3 original celebrities have an advantage because it's true that they've been reading this manual from day one, well, then obviously they've been around longer than Paul and Kat, so they probably have the manual more down than Paul or Kat does. If it's a, read this and, we'll question you about it tomorrow, then obviously they're all in the same boat. So it'll be interesting how that works. And I honestly have no idea who would be better at building stuff. I really have no idea. There is nothing inherent in their day-to-day lives that would scream that they know how to put a satellite together. Or anything, really. So with that, I believe I've covered this episode, and I will see you guys in the next one.